with costs. I'm extremely disappointed with the court ruling to dismiss my application for judicial review of the Minister's decision to cancel my visa, which means I cannot stay in Australia and participate in the Australian Open.
The Migration Act requires him to be deported from Australia as soon as reasonably practicable.
The Court of Public Opinion was central to the case. The government's key reason for cancelling the star's visa for a second time was that Novak Djokovic's presence here could foster anti-vax sentiment and incite protests. Lawyers for the world number one argued the immigration minister misinterpreted media reports about the star's views on vaccination. Not a single line of evidence in the material before the minister provided any foundation whatsoever for the proposition. He also said officials hadn't asked Djokovic directly about his views. The minister's lawyer, Stephen Lloyd, argued it wasn't just media reports that demonstrated Djokovic's attitude towards vaccination. That he's still unvaccinated reflects a choice on his part to remain unvaccinated when he could be vaccinated. Mr. Lloyd said rightly or wrongly the star is perceived as endorsing anti-vaccination views.
If he's not going to get vaccinated, he needs to do what everyone else is doing and stay home.
It is not rational at all.
All this mucking around with the lawyers in court cases, I think he should be out.
Djokovic won't have the chance to prove his greatness again by winning this year's Australian Open. Amy Bainbridge, ABC News, Melbourne.
Just before the Federal Court handed down its decision, Tennis Australia released the schedule of play for the Australian Open, with Novak Djokovic listed to play on Rod Laver Arena tomorrow night. That won't be happening. Tom Maddox joins us now from Melbourne Park. Tom, what's the backup plan?
Well, Gemma, Novak Djokovic will now be replaced by a lucky loser. Ironically, that lucky loser will play a fellow Serbian in Mirmir Kecmanovic, who is meant to play Novak Djokovic tomorrow night on Rod Laver, the 22-year-old who's ranked 78th in the world. So the lucky loser, Gemma, will be randomly drawn from the top 4 ranked players who lost in the final round of the qualifying for the Australian Open this week. So, of course, as you say, Novak was scheduled to play tomorrow night in a prime-time slot in the evening on Rod Laver Arena, the biggest arena here at Melbourne Park, after Ashley Barty, Australia's Ashley Barty. And so there might be some unhappy ticket holders and indeed an unhappy broadcaster that you'll have a scenario now where a much lesser-known Serbian player will play someone who failed to get through the qualifying rounds in the prime-time viewing slot tomorrow night on Rod Laver Arena. So it's possible there could be some shuffling around. But in a tennis sense, Gemma, this means that with the 9-time champion out of the Australian Open, it opens the door for perhaps a first-time champion here at Melbourne Park. Daniil Medvedev, Tsitsipas, Alexander Zverev are just some of the names, the rising stars who could take Novak Djokovic's place here at Melbourne Park. And of course we have Rafael Nadal, who's won once here at the Australian Open more than a decade ago, but there are question marks over his preparations going into this event. He's just recovered from foot injury and also from COVID-19, and it's unclear how he'll go with the rigours of long matches in the summer here at Melbourne.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Let's get the reaction now from Novak Djokovic's home country of Serbia.
Woohoo! Novak is gone. Go!
What's the reaction been?
Well, Gemma, this is news that many Serbians are waking up to. It's still early here, but this is news that will no doubt disappoint many people here who are hoping to see him play. Novak Djokovic is often referred to as Serbia's favourite son. He continues to have the support of the government here. They say they'll back him in whatever he needs. Now, the media storm that has circled around Novak Djokovic has certainly frustrated many residents here. Some were very concerned about the focus on his vaccine status, but a fair portion of their frustration is directed towards the Australian government, who they blame for making this issue be much bigger than it had to be. Now, as Novak Djokovic prepares the next steps in his journey, he has thanked his fans, his supporters, and his fellow Serbians, who he says has been an enormous source of strength for him in this journey.
In his old neighbourhood, Novak Djokovic is memorialised like a national hero, a walking legend to the families that live here.
but some are uncomfortable with his new status.
I'm afraid he is going to be an anti-vaxxers icon.